And right now, we got a couple of guys who went home last in Memphis. How about it for the funny car winner, Jeff Arend, his crew chief, John Oberhofer. And Jeff, let's start by talking with you. We talked yesterday about what was going on. Take me back to the moment. You're cruising down there. You hit the 1,000-foot stripe. You look in your lane. You see a win light. What are you thinking?
Obviously, it was awesome for the Colettas and everything. It's all we were thinking about all day. Cars started running better and better. And when you get to the final, you don't want to lose. You want to do well. And I had a slight idea maybe Tony had a problem. He went in pretty fast after we both pre-staged, so I didn't really let it bother me too much. But when win light came on, there was a lot of yelling in my microphone. I'm glad we're not keyed into you guys for that deal.
Well, John, I want to ask you, I mean, obviously that was a dominating performance you had in Memphis after first round, a 410, a 410, then the final 409. But I want to take us to this race. You came out and ran another 410, but you struggled yesterday spinning the tires. Do you think you have the problem solved?
I think we do. We learned a lot definitely yesterday, and we're just going to back it down a little bit, but you can't back it down too much because the conditions are going to be really well. So, I mean, it should be a pretty good dogfight out there.
Jeff, I want to ask you how much pressure you were feeling as we take a look at the graphic here. First 23 races with the Coletta Motorsports team, boy, things were awful rough, but here lately, how much pressure were you feeling before Memphis, before the last 5 races?
I don't know if you'd call it pressure, because I felt I was doing a pretty good job driving the car. We found every which way to lose. You know, if we smoked the tires, the other guy smoked the tires. We ran a little bit slow, the other guy outran us. It was just, we could never put two things together. But I had a lot of faith. We went to the Indy test session this year. Jono, Nicky, Connie, everybody got together, and our crew, and it started turning around. And since then, you've seen a big improvement. The car's starting to go some rounds, and obviously that 410, I'm sure John Force was pretty surprised when we whipped that on him, huh? Yeah, no kidding. By the way, happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving in Canada. That's where Jeff comes from.
Hey. Is it Thanksgiving in Canada?
Yes, it is.
Get your turkey today?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe if you win, you'll get one. But I want to go back to John. I mean, how is it? You've been with Connie Coletta forever. I mean, you basically, grew up together. And how has he been reacting to this whole situation? And I mean, I know he struggled. That funny car is a hard deal, he told me. But how's he been responding?
He does well. I mean, sometimes he just says he's talking loud, but that's what he says anyway. But he's obviously a very smart man, and he knows how to run a race car, and he likes to get his input in there. So you always got to listen to him. I mean, he's that kind of a guy, Plus, he tells you who signs the front of the paycheck and who signs the back. So
that is always a very good reminder. We'll get caught back up with you right now, but we're going to find out what's going on with the funny car point leaders. Ashley Porcid standing by with Gary right now.
In that #1 spot, I had an opportunity. We were talking a little bit with Ashley earlier this weekend about this whole business of pressure coming down to the final 3 events and how the focus starts to narrow and that magnifying glass gets a little brighter. And you were saying that it's important not to go mental over the championship. How difficult is that to do?
It can be very easy to get mental because this job, it's a very physical job, but it's also a mind, a mind job, I guess, as well. And I think the pressure's off us. We're a newer team. I can't even imagine the pressure that some of these teams out here that are so close, that have been so close before, year after year. I know Robert's team, they've come so close to this championship for many years in the past, and to be right up there with them, competing against them, I think if anything, probably the pressure is least on us because this is our first time even being in the running for this, and to be so close, we're just excited.
Well, I want to swing over here and get a quick word with your dad as we wish you well, obviously, in this ongoing pressure cooker. John, step in here. Interesting scenario for the first time since Indianapolis when you and Robert faced each other, and that seemed to touch off a bit of a furor. So what's in store today as you go up against Robert?
Well, we're going to go out there and race. I've got an opportunity here with Castrol and Ford and Auto Club, all the brands that I carry. At the end of the day, they want me to win too. And if Robert can come from as far behind as he did in 3 races and catch right up to the points lead, well, there's 3 races left starting the day. I've got to make a move here. I've got to make a move next week or I'm not going to have a shot at this. So I'm going to do my best to win.
Well, we saw Cruz Pedregon last year do just that. Swept the last 3, went from 6th to a championship. Can you do that?
Cruz went on a roll. That's what it takes. And I've been there. I've done that myself. But at the end of the day, we had problems yesterday. We tried to put an O on the board. All my cars could do it except for us. And we blew it blew it everywhere, set her on fire. And I was raising hell back here like, how can we be this screwed up? We made a lot of changes, but it's exciting over here in the John Force camp. John Medlin's over there he is a part of the original brain trust. Austin Coyle, Bernie Federley, and John Medlin. Mike Neff, he's doing great over here with this race car, him and John Medlin. So I brought Medlin here with me to see if we can get my race car back on track, putting the brain trust back together and trying to get a shot at this championship before it's too late.
Well, you got John going against Roberts. You got Ashley against Jeff Arend. Looks like a prescription for a real interesting day here in Virginia.
Good. In fact, Gary, while you were talking with Ashley Forsett, I was watching Jeff Arend. He was getting his race face on again. Keep in mind, in Memphis, he beat Ashley. He beat John. You start with Ashley today. Can you do it again?
Yeah, we're going to give it a good try. I mean, our DHL Toyota's running awesome, obviously. It ripped off a pretty good 10 on Friday night. Probably saw the edge of where we have to go yesterday. So I don't know, it's going to be a good race. They got to take us pretty serious right now. We're going to have a good light, and we're going to run well.
We saw the pit of the #1 qualifier, Jack Beckman, just a moment ago. Let's show you that big run yesterday in qualifying.
We saw a number of good runs in the funny car category, but Jack Beckman, when it was all said and done, had the best run, picking up that #1 spot with a 4:04 elapsed time.
And what could the points look like had Jeff Arend not taken out Ashley Forsett? As it is, she holds a 7-point lead following all the qualifying bonus points and whatnot. Tony Pedregon 35 back. 4 racers, according to you, Mike, still very much part of this championship.
Absolutely. Ron Capps and Bob Tasca still have a shot if they can do well today.
All right, time now for our fan question. And I turn behind me to find Madison Reinhold from Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, and a question for the crew chief on this effort. Fire away.
Hey, John, how much did it hurt when your brother Jim punched you in the stomach after Jeff's win in Memphis?
You know, that's a Coletta tradition, right?
It is a tradition. It started with Nikki and my brother, and then it's gone on to my brother and I. And
here it comes.
Look at that. I can tell he did that with love. I can tell.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did. But, you know, he'd be mad at me if I said it didn't hurt. And it did hurt. But he didn't bruise me, so.
Time now for our Fram email report. A question that comes to us from David in Tennessee. What did Jeff Arend's win at Memphis mean for the rest of Coletta Motorsports? And for Jono, I got to turn to you because you've been there a long, long time.
It was really emotional, and it was kind of personal. It was something that, you know, we went to Scott's mom's funeral, and then on the way back down from her funeral, you know, that's where the funny car came from. You know, we went to Connie's house, my brother and I, and Scott and Connie was there, and we talked about it, and Scott really wanted a funny car. So I mean, we have a lot of the guys that were on that team, you know, when his accident happened, that are still there, you know. So, and obviously he was like a brother to us. So it was real emotional. It was real personal.
Absolutely.
But then when we did win, it was, you know, it was like, you know, we could do this, and this is what he wanted, and we did it, you know. It was real emotional.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, let's check in real quick with Stat Guy for the stat of the race.
Well, Jeff Arend took 13 years in between wins. Maple Grove 96, Memphis 2009. The other driver to do that in the pro class is Tom Hoover, 79 Pomona, and the fabled Phoenix 92 race. Hey, Jeff, don't wait so long next time, all right, brother?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you know what? Your first win was my second race ever.
All right.
So I can help put it into context, too. Jeff Arend, everybody, John Oberhofer, you guys have a great, safe NHRA race day today.